Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for checking out this video here on Shows Style and Spirit. I am Ebony, of course, and as you can see from the title of this video, I will be talking about a Marsau shading Melody for absolutely no reason at all. She did not deserve it. In his review of Trisha and Marquez's relationship. And then also we're going to talk about Dr. Francis returning to Love and Marriage Huntsville. I absolutely love it, and more. I'm basically going to recap episode 11. So now before I get into all of the details, I ask that you please hit the like button on this video. You hear us content creators ask to do that on each and every video because then YouTube will recommend it to more people who enjoy discussing Love and Marriage Huntsville. And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to Shows Style and Spirit. I would definitely love to have you as one of the showstoppers. And everything that I'm saying during this video is alleged and just my opinion. And the Copyright Act of 1976 says that my fair use commentary on these sound bites are allowed for criticism. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the episode 11 opens up. It's called Nell Raiser, okay? A spin off of the horror movie Hellraiser, but Nell Raiser. I think that this episode was very much so appropriately titled. And we see where the kids are trying to convince their mom, Nell, that she should go to therapy individually in addition to the family doing group therapy. Of course, Nell is denying that she has an issue. I think that that's a huge red flag. I view going to therapy like going to a class. Like for the rest of our natural earthly lives, we're going to always be learning things. It may not necessarily be for your job. You could be learning a different method for cooking. You could be learning a new exercise to do with weights or at the gym. You could learn about a new musical artist. You could learn about art at a museum. For as long as you're breathing in and out, you should be open to learning and growing. Similarly, if you have the opportunity to go to a therapist, do it. Talk about your life experiences. The therapist will not interrupt you, will not judge you, and they'll be like a mirror. They'll listen to you and then they'll give you like a summary. And then they'll say, so and so, these people have been like this to you, and it's just a really wonderful experience. And I think that it's a red flag that Nell keeps saying that she doesn't need it. That's very, very strange. Usually it seems like a lot of people, they would love to go to therapy, but for whatever reason, they may not have the opportunity. So it's just not every day that you hear someone say, I don't need to go to therapy. It seems like the last person that I kind of heard just seemed not to be so open to it was Martell. And I'm just going to leave that right there. So then we have this scene, okay, oh my gosh. So we have Marsau meeting with Marquez, Trisha's husband. They are separated. He lives in Atlanta now. He moved from Huntsville to Atlanta 3 years ago when his daughter was 7. Now she's 10. And he used to work with Marsau at the movie theater, Monaco. So they've known each other. And Marsau did not realize that Trisha was Marquez's husband. At least that's what he said on camera. They met at Black and they were talking about Marquez's marital situation. He explained how he left Trisha. They got married when they were 18 years old. Then they had their son, who's old enough to drive, because he actually said that Ken bought Trish and Marquez's son a car that he is currently driving. Marquez is someone who is physically attractive, but upstairs in that brain of his, nobody is home. His brain cells, they are not interacting with each other. They are not moving. They are not doing anything. They are totally giving each other the silent treatment. He is an ungrateful, selfish, audacious meathead. And Italian men, they when they call somebody a meathead, that means you're dumb, okay? And that is definitely him. And he is so ungrateful because it sounds like he just didn't want to be married anymore. He pointed out that he and Trisha got married when they were 18. They were high school sweethearts. And I think that he realized, oh shit, I didn't get to be a bachelor. I did not get to be a player and do my thing. So let me move to Atlanta. Let me move to Atlanta and do my thing. And no telling how much havoc he is wrecking up there. For me, I would say down there. Okay. But he left the family. The 10-year-old daughter, he says, told him that she hates him. And you know what kind of a dad leaves his family? He thought that Trisha put those words in his daughter's ear. And Marsau said, no, you left her and she's hurt. That's probably based off of her intelligence. And Marquez refuses to give his daughter that much credit for being in tune with her feelings and being able to express how she feels to him. But he left. He did not care. But where his pride gets hurt is seeing another man care for the children. And it's making him feel rejected by his kids. That sounds like a you problem, Marquez. Nobody cares. So when Trisha is out working, or I don't know, over Martell's house, Ken is there to take the kids to school, take the daughter to dance, take the son to homecoming, because you decided to leave your family and go to Atlanta. So for a second, a hot minute, I was like, oh my gosh, Marsau is being like the voice of reason. And then, of course, he had to jack it up. He had to just totally be an idiot like Marquez as well. And then he's going to totally make an analogy that does not make sense at all and thereby shade Melody.
I stayed in Huntsville. I took him to school. I stayed over there. I did everything. I talk to him every day, even now. What is talking to him gonna do? I spend time with them when I can. Maybe not as much as I can because I moved away. Okay, that's called leaving. It's okay for them to have animosity towards you. You left them. And so when a 10-year-old comes in the room and says, hey, you left me, that's what she feels. She didn't get that from her mom. She got it from intelligence. Like, I didn't handle it the right way. So my question is, how do I move forward with this man in the household? Because there's what's going on with him? What's the issue? Me and him never had a talk. Then he told my ex that I need to be worried about my daughter wanting him to be her daddy. Ken and Trish can be married. My daughter is going to always look at him as a father figure. Honestly, no. I don't want him to be a father. You don't want him to be at PTA meetings? Absolutely not. When she's a tough day at school and she comes home crying, do you want her to run to his arms and him to hug her? No. Okay. So you'd rather the man that your ex-wife married, when she has a tough day at school, he comes in and he sees her crying, he says, call your daddy. That's the kind of guy you want to be around your daughter? No, but I guess. So you want him to hug her then? No, the part of me, the thing is that it's a conflict. Him to tell her it's all right. It's a conflict. That's why you don't leave your kids, bro. No, but what do you want from this? Do you want her back? No, I just want to figure out how to co-parent with my kids and figure out how I can maybe see how we can resolve this. I really just want to move forward. Marquez is a bit delusional in his approach to this situation. Although there may be some similarities between Marquez and Martell, I think that Marquez is a little more passive. And in relation to he and Trish and Martell and Bell, I think that Marquez may be the male in this situation. What you have to understand is that you want to take accountability for leaving, right? But you don't want to take accountability for the consequences. I understand. I messed up. I left my family. I get it. My only issue is this man coming in and us never having a real conversation. I'm with you. And I need that. This is something, honestly, this is something that you should feel hurt about and change. Your daughter's 10 years old. It's okay to come in and say, hey, baby girl, I made a mistake. Anything that you allow to get between you and your kids is more important to you than your kids. And right connection with him is more important than your children. Y'all need to have a conversation. You may not recognize this, man, but this guy picked up where you left off. I had such a hard time with that. You know what the first word that should be out your mouth when you talk to him? I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. You're not gonna like this. Thank you. Does he pay bills at the house? I don't know what's going on. I assume so. I'm pretty sure that he's bought your kids something. Oh yeah, he's taking them out the country. He's done a lot of things. The car that my son got. So, thank you. Yeah, that's a tough one. But if you want to be a co-parent, start by acknowledging the fact that this guy's been picking up the slack. Well, he don't got no choice. I feel like he don't have a choice. He has a choice. If he loves her, he don't have a choice. But he can leave. He can leave like you left. He ain't finna leave. He worship the ground she walked on. He ain't going on. Somebody does. You didn't. On this side right here, you can have some issues. Hey, listen, I don't like how y'all started. To me, that's on some bull. Man to man, you came at my wife while she was married. That's not cool. On this other side, you did right by her. You did right by the kids. You have to compartmentalize your disdain for this guy. Is that fair? I just want to be there for my kids, and I want to figure it out. Whatever that means for me. What it means right now is having a lot less pride. Having a lot less pride and realizing this guy's been helpful to you.
Okay, so you heard that soundbite, and it was a continuation of Marquez just talking like a total loser. I think that he expected when he left his family to move to Atlanta, he just figured Trisha would be a single mother with 2 children and the financial burden of providing for them on her own. He did not expect her to meet a man, Ken, who would not only date her, but would be willing to be a father figure to his children and provide for them and be there to the point where they have reallocated their affection that normally should be held for Marquez, and they have applied it to Ken. That part Marquez did not plan out when he set up his exit strategy to move to Atlanta. So nobody cares, Marquez, but Marsau. You were doing good as like a mentor in the Big Sister, Big Brother program until you said that in comparing Trisha and Marquez to Melody and Martell, Marquez is like Melody. That is silly. Now, when Melody checks him at the reunion, he's going to try and say, oh, I just said that you were like him or he was like you because you two were the ones who left your marriages. He's going to try and put it like on the physical leaving of the situation. But no, you were trying to shade Melody, trying to say that, I don't know, like she's a selfish person like him, but she takes on the financial responsibility of 4 kids. So if anything, Ken would be the closest person to like a Melody. And Marquez, he's just a loser. See, when you get married at 18 years old and you don't know much about life, literally they married each other because Marquez and Trisha were physically attracted to each other and they had young love, like the Tina Marie song, and they got married. And then this Negro realized that he had missed out on being a player and he wanted to make up for lost time. And he did not care how that would impact Trisha and their 2 children. But Marsau, in that whole scenario, I don't even know why you would bring up Melody and Martell, just because you know 2 couples where one is divorced and one is separated doesn't mean that they're comparable. I think that that is ridiculous. And Melody is the one who's putting up all of the work and the money for raising a family. So I don't get that analogy at all. And I cannot wait until the reunion when Melody circles back around to it. So I know that we all are familiar with this scene. I love this scene. I actually made a video about it. On the thumbnail. It says Nell Fletcher, then a colon, shut up and pay me. And I have the sound bite for this scene and that video. So at the end of this video, I'll have it where you can just click on that video and watch it. But in this scene, we see where Nell, she is actually outdone, that the family said that she needed to go to therapy. And Melody responded with, "What's wrong with that?" And she's like, "I don't need no therapy. I just need my money." And Melody said in her confessional, "I think generationally there's a difference. My generation is open to therapy. Nell's generation has never been open to therapy," which is correct. I said in my video, Nell, she's either on the oldest end of Gen X, or the very much so youngest of baby boomers. And they did just feel like, oh, all you need is Jesus. All you need is to go to church and everything will be okay. And in that video, I said how I believe God intends for us to use both our spiritual beliefs in conjunction with therapy. And I believe that God has called certain people to do certain things. Some people were called to be therapists, psychologists, doctors, and they were meant to help people heal their bodies, heal their minds, and heal their emotions. And so I feel like definitely we were meant to get therapy. And I don't think that it should be looked upon as something weird or a bad thing. So I felt like this scene was very much so necessary, and I loved it. I love the conversation. So then we see Dr. Francis meeting with the Fletcher family. Oh my gosh. So in that same video, Nell Fletcher, shut up and pay me, I play a soundbite of Nell and Lance going back and forth in front of Dr. Francis. Nell did everything that Lance said when Dr. Francis asked the kids, "What's the difference between going to your dad about something and going to your mom?" And Lance said, "My dad is going to listen to me without interrupting. He's going to let me get all of my thoughts out. My mom listens just to rebuttal. She's going to interrupt and not really hear what I'm saying. She just wants to argue." And then Nell totally proved him right. In my opinion, out of these four kids, you know what, I'm going to include Lexi. So out of their five kids, I feel like there's only two that speaks up to Nell. And I think that's Lance, and I think that's Lexi. And I think for Nell, she just reconciles in her mind, Lexi is not my biological child. She lives in Tennessee, and she did that interview with Giving You the Real Tea. I don't F with her. But Lance is my natural born son. I pushed him out of my body. I'm going to F with him. But he gives her pushback. The other three, they say nothing, and they have, their own traumas that kind of keep them from speaking up. Kiki, for whatever reason, her biological parents were not there for her. So she probably feels like I would be betraying Uncle Chris and Aunt Nell if I speak up to Aunt Nell. But Kiki doesn't realize that that is self-betrayal when you do not speak up for yourself. And then Kayla, I don't know if it's so much trauma for her or if she's like, I don't want to get cut off from the money. And Chris Jr., we saw during season 6 where he met with his dad and said that, he had been struggling with depression, and it made Chris cry. Because even during this scene, when Dr. Francis made Nell tell each of the kids something that she loved about them, what she said to Chris Jr. was, "I want you to get out of your funk, and I'll be here for you." So like, she is aware of his issues, but I think that that probably affects Chris Jr.'s self-esteem. And when that self-esteem is low, you're going to definitely be susceptible to people disrespecting you and walking all over you. So I could see him not speaking up. And, we know that he struggles with depression, unfortunately. So, I've made a video about this. I've talked about growing up while Black. Again, shout out to the plainest Jane. Be sure to check out her YouTube channel and subscribe. I said in another video this weekend that, that was like a breakthrough for me when I first heard on her channel, growing up while Black. When your parents, they expect you, just because they are the parents and you are the child, you are not supposed to use your brain, that thing, inside your head, and come up with an opinion, come up with a plan for your life, or to have a disagreement with them, God forbid. And so I feel like Nell is the classic example of that. And then unfortunately, like if you have some sort of issue or struggle like Chris Jr., then you probably feel like she's got you by the balls. Like she paid the money to get him out of jail. She also saved his dogs, took them to the vet. So then she kept the dogs. Oh my gosh. Like, and there are some people, because it'd be people in the comments on Instagram, like on the Love and Marriage Huntsville page or the OWN Instagram page. There are people in the comments, she tired. All of us with adult kids, we tired. But it's like nobody talks about the lack of the listening and the yelling when you don't like something. And like Lance said, just listening to rebuttal, not listening to understand. So I feel really bad for them. And Nell, I do want to point out, in my opinion, you did not do the exercise correctly. Dr. Francis asked you to tell each kid something that you love or admire about them. And she was like, Kiki, I know I'm not your birth mom, but I'm like a mom to you and I'm here for you. Lance, before anyone came along, it was just you and I against the world, and I love you. I'm like, no, you were supposed to say something like, Kiki, I think you're a great cook. Lance, I'm so proud of you. You started your own business. You're always posting on Instagram. Kayla, I think that you're beautiful. You're great at putting pieces together. Chris Jr., you are so compassionate. You care for others. She was supposed to do that. But she told Chris Jr., get out of your funk. So she don't listen. She don't listen. And she proved that about herself in this scene 100%. Then we have Marquez meeting with Trisha. Oh my gosh. Just when I thought he couldn't be more of a loser, just totally taking issue with Ken doing stuff for his kids because he left. In this scene, he actually says that he'll go ahead and file for divorce, but it's a $400 application fee. And he asked Trisha if she could put half on it. And she said in her confessional, oh my gosh, he was really starting to piss me off. It's okay though, Ken will pay it. I kind of feel like Trisha and Marquez, like they're kind of one and the same a little bit. Like, okay, Marquez is trying to use you, and now you're just gonna apply that energy onto Ken. No, darling, you need to cough up the $200. This is your marriage. This is not Ken's marriage. But she obviously knows how to put it on Ken, and then he's just like a baby, goo goo gaga, and here's the $200. But Ken is a good one because I could not. It's so funny, like with romantic relationships, have y'all ever noticed, like with your white girlfriends or white female coworkers or just people from other races, they don't deal with or say some of the shit that Black women say when it comes to dating and Black men? Like, they never talk about dating someone with potential. They never say shit like that. And the reason why I bring that up is because, with Marquez, again, he's a classic example of being attractive. But when you hear him talk, there's absolutely nothing upstairs. And Ken, he got with Trisha, and she has like 2 children. And I know that a lot of people out there have been step parents, or perhaps you met someone and they didn't have any kids and they loved yours like they were yours. But I feel like in our community, the women were always being so merciful and understanding. And in Trisha's case, it's kind of more on the flip side because Ken is effing with her and she has 2 kids. And typically, black men, they judge everything about a black woman. Your body got to be perfect, like Meg the Stallions. And, you got to have a job with the 0 kids. But Ken, he definitely loved her and her children. So I just feel like that's interesting. Or like if white people do blend families, both people, they were married prior and they have like similar experiences and then they come together. But it just seems like there's always more complications with us and dating. And that was pretty much the episode. Love and Marriage Huntsville, it has lost its spark. I don't know what we can do. We're never going to have the magic of seasons 1 and 2. Like I'm almost like, shoot, maybe Tiffany and Lou need to come back, like bring them back. And, I don't know, child, but this show, its chemistry is just so off. And I don't know what they can do to get it back. But I thought of Trisha Marquez and Ken, and it made me think of when Jada Pinkett said that she and August Alsina, they had an entanglement. And I remember this was like floating all over Facebook, the entanglement playlist, a list of songs that talk about love triangles. Of course, you got Escape, You're My Little Secret, and that's how we should keep it. I love that song. And Creep by TLC and Keith Sweat. Something, 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 something just ain't right. And I Wish by Carl Thomas. Love him. And of course, Nelly and Kelly Rowland, Dilemma. And I don't know If I'm Not Your Lover by I'll Be Sure. I have to check that out. And there's also M2May, Me, You, and He, What We're Gonna Do, Baby. Is that song? Me, You, and I think so. And of course, Shirley Murdoch, As We Lay. Kelly Price remade that song. R. Kelly, Down Low. So I just wanted to share that with you all. But yeah, if you checked out the episode, I know that a lot of you are blacking out. If you checked out the episode, what did you think about it overall? What did you think about Marquez? Oh my gosh, that is just like run in the opposite direction. Also, like I would be turned off if like you tell me that you're separated. First of all, I can't mess with you. But like if you like leave kids in another city that's 3 hours away from Atlanta, that's just weird. I can remember like back when I went to the mall to get my hair done, and this guy was trying to hit on me. And he was like, "Do you have kids?" And I said, "No." "Do you?" I was like in my 20s. And he was like, "Yeah, I have 2 kids. I have baggage." I was like, "Why would you call your kids baggage?" So I was instantly turned off. I'm like, "I'm not giving you my number." I think that that's an insecure man that would like hide children, lie about not having them, or, say things like they're baggage. That's an insecure man. And he probably expected me to say, "Yeah, I have kids." So when I said I do not, he labeled his own kids as baggage. I thought that was horrible. But definitely, I thank you all so much for checking out this video. Please hit the like button on this video as it is a free way of supporting the channel. And please subscribe to Show Style and Spirit if you have not already done so. Sunday is kind of always like my power day. So I did wake up and I watched not only Love and Marriage Huntsville, but I looked at the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Orange County. I don't know if any of you all watched that one. It has like, I've been watching it since forever, like several years now. And Shannon Bador, she broke up with her boyfriend. She can be emotionally fragile at times. So anything such as a breakup could really send her in a tailspin. And she had a DUI, crashed her car into somebody's house. Thank God nobody got hurt or lost their lives. And it just dealt with that. I thought it was a very good first episode. I thought it was great. And I love the Dubrows. Y'all know I love to binge watch Botched. It's on the Peacock channel if you have the Peacock streaming service. So I love them and it was good to see them. So after I watched that, I went to the gym, then I went grocery shopping, came home, put the groceries up, and then I went to the park, spent a couple hours at the park, walked outside there for 40 minutes. I love walking outside and being amongst the green grass and trees and the people. Even if I don't know them or talk to them, I do feed off of their productive energy as well, And then I came home, listened to some music. Obviously, I shared some on my community tab, and then I made this video. So now I am going to get ready for bed. It will not be a manic Monday. It will be a magnificent Monday. Do everything you need to do today to prepare. I also meal prepped, so I have some food fixed for lunch. Whatever you have to do tonight to have a smooth morning tomorrow, just go ahead and do it. You'll be proud of yourself that you did. And I will talk with you all soon. Bye.